Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, a Bangor resident faces attempted murder charges for allegedly attacking a neighbor with a machete.
Plus, Governor Janet Mills has announced she will include more funding for school bus safety measures in the upcoming budget.
And the University of Maine system is starting this spring semester with the highest enrollment since 2019.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us this morning. We'll have those stories and more coming up this morning, including some good news for the folks in Heartland. They're coming up with a new use for the local tannery that shut down years ago. So we'll hear about that as well. But first, to check out that forecast, looking like a partly cloudy day today. Real cold to start the morning.
Cold.
Yeah, I got a chill this morning.
Me too. Yeah. We'll turn things over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Wednesday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Stone Artisans. For fast, beautiful countertops, trust Stone Artisans, your Maine stone supplier. 2493040. Alrighty, here we go. So we have a small craft advisory that is up until 7 p.m. as we head towards your Thursday. Some active surf along the coast that we'll need to keep an eye on. But in the meantime, pretty quiet as we get things rolling on your Wednesday morning. But later on tonight, we'll be watching for a little bit of snow that will be moving in with an area low pressure that is off towards the west. There it is right there. That will be tracking off towards the east. But for now, the northeast is looking pretty quiet on this Wednesday morning. Futurecast showing some clouds. We'll call it partly cloudy today. More clouds this afternoon. Into the evening, there's the snow right there that will be passing through. Not enough to prompt any advisories in our neck of the woods, but it may cause the roads to get slippery at times. But for today, we have mid-20s under a partly cloudy sky. More clouds for the afternoon at southwest wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. There is a snow tonight with 1 to 3 inches with lows overall in the upper teens. But meanwhile, your hourly forecast, we'll have some clouds moving in with temperatures reaching for the 20s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa?
All right, thank you, Devin. We'll see you a little later on. A Bangor man is being charged with attempted murder after allegedly attacking his neighbor with a machete. 24-year-old Zachary Wright was arrested January 15th after police say they got a call from a man on Sunset Avenue who told them he had been attacked. Bangor Police Sergeant Jeremy Brock says when officers arrived, they located the alleged victim, who was able to disarm his attacker. Brock says he had several lacerations on his head and was treated for his injuries at a local hospital. He is expected to recover. The victim identified his alleged attacker as his neighbor, Zachary Wright, and told police they had issues in the past. Wright was located near the scene and was taken into custody. He's now charged with aggravated attempted murder, elevated aggravated assault, and aggravated assault.
An Orrington man has been arrested in connection with the death of his 12-week-old daughter. 24-year-old Sean Samuels is charged with murder, domestic violence, elevated aggravated assault, and 2 counts of violating bail. Maine State Police spokesperson Shannon Moss says on January 16th, crews responded to a 911 call about an infant that had become unresponsive. The infant, identified as Lila Samuels, was transported to Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center, where she died on January 18th. Moss says an autopsy determined the manner of death was a homicide. The cause of death is pending final testing. Sean Samuels is due in court today. Anyone with information about the case is asked to call 973-3700 extension 9 and asked to speak to Detective Dana Austin.
Well, fire has devastated a dog rescue in Sebec. 6 dogs died on Tuesday afternoon after that facility caught fire. It was just after 3:30 when the first responders received reports of a fire at the Give a Dog a Home rescue on Downs Road. Sebec Fire Chief Mike Harris says when crews arrived, the building was already fully engulfed in flames. The fire was quickly upgraded to a 3rd alarm, triggering mutual aid from surrounding departments. The town of Sebec does not have fire hydrants and typically relies on the lake for water. But with winter conditions, Chief Harris says crews were forced to shuttle water from their closest available source, which was at the Penquist Valley School in Milo. While crews were able to get the fire under control, officials say of the 14 dogs present at the time of the fire, 8 were injured and 6 succumbed to their injuries and passed away. Harris says it was the homeowner who saved most of the surviving dogs.
There was nobody home at the residence at the time. She had left to go to town to pick up some stuff, and when she returned, the house was fully involved. Of course, anytime everybody's anxious, their pets are inside, she attempted to go inside and save the dogs that she could.
Well, Harris says no one was home, as he said, when the fire started, and the surviving animals did have a safe place to stay last night. The building is considered a total loss. Fire officials say the cause is not believed to be suspicious, and the investigation has now been turned over to the state fire marshal's office.
State fire marshals are investigating a fire that seriously injured a woman in Friendship. The Knox County Sheriff's Office received a 911 call about an explosion followed by a fire at 36 North Harbor Cemetery Lane a little before 10 on Monday night. The Friendship Fire Department and several neighboring crews responded. A Maine Department of Public Safety spokesperson says when they arrived, they found an adult female outside of the home who had sustained life-threatening injuries. She was transported by Lifelight to Maine Medical Center in Portland. Investigators from the Maine Fire Marshal's office found evidence that indicated a small explosion had occurred. The spokesperson says the residents did not have electrical service and generators were being used to supply power. The home was also being heated by a fireplace. The spokesperson says propane gas was being used for cooking and several propane cylinders of different sizes were located around the residence. The investigation remains ongoing, but the spokesperson says the incident is not considered suspicious.
The National Transportation Safety Board has released its preliminary findings after a boy was run over and killed by a school bus in Rockland. They say the bus had stopped at the intersection with Eliza Steele Drive and Broadway back on November 21st. 12-year-old Braden Callahan was the last to exit the bus and immediately walked toward the front of the bus where there was a crosswalk. That's when the bus started rolling forward and ran over him. Bus driver Jeffrey Colburn didn't see the child and has been charged with manslaughter in the case. Callahan's family has also filed a $10 million lawsuit against the school district.
Following the deaths of 2 children in school bus accidents, Governor Janet Mills has announced she will include $4.3 million for bus safety measures in the upcoming budget. If approved by the legislature, those safety measures will include nearly 1,700 Maine school buses with crossing arms and anti-pinch door sensors. The governor has also signed an executive order to establish a commission on school bus safety. A statement says they will review the statutes and rules regarding school bus safety and identify improvements to school transportation rules. The commission will make recommendations to the legislature and the governor by April 30th. Maine Department of Public Safety Commissioner Michael Sawchuk says, quote, "The Maine Department of Public Safety looks forward to working with the commission on ways to improve safety on school buses for Maine students. We are committed to developing strategies and solutions to make sure tragedies like those last year are prevented."
An act to authorize a $40,000 general fund bond issue to support Maine's farmers and forest industry was the focus of a public hearing in Augusta. Representative Bill Pluker is a sponsor of that measure. He says there are a number of grants and low-interest loan programs to help farmers and foresters, but all of them are oversubscribed.
Farmers and foresters need to be able to invest in their businesses. Right now, because we're such lean profits from those businesses, we just don't have the money to reinvest. And if we want to see those industries move on into the future, they need the investment.
Now, Pluker says once a farmer pays off a loan, the money goes right back out the door to the next one. He says our economies in rural Maine depend on these resources, so farmers and foresters can flourish and put food on the table. The measure will need further action in both the House and Senate.
Maine Republicans are criticizing the governor, Secretary of State, and Democrats regarding their comments on federal law enforcement presence in Maine. Republicans slammed the video message issued by the governor last week that addressed the rumors of a potential surge in ICE agents coming to Maine. They said it was the wrong message to send and only served to escalate tensions.
They're not just a bunch of mercenaries hired by the current president. I think it's ridiculous, the tone and the talk that's going on, and it's ridiculous what our position as a state is towards them, and it needs to stop.
They are also taking aim at Secretary of State for limiting the issuing of undercover license plates amidst worries about immigration and customs enforcement operations here in Maine.
Not just immigration authorities, This includes the U.S. Marshals Service stated their request for undercover license plates was denied by the Secretary of State as well. Will put federal law enforcement officers in danger.
Senate Minority Leader Trey Stewart says they'll be requesting a sit-down with the governor regarding the video and other issues in the hopes that they can all, quote, all get on the same page when it comes to communication and messaging from state government to the public. Well, the time now is 6:11. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, a new chapter awaits for the town of Heartland as the former Irving Tannery building is being transformed for future investment.
We'll tell you all about it, but first another check of that forecast. A partly cloudy day ahead today with highs near 25 degrees. Snow is likely tonight. We could get a few inches. Lows dropping down to the upper teens. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with more snow showers. Highs around 37. We'll be right back.
Planning your holiday meals and parties? Don't forget about visiting WVII Sons in Bangor, just minutes from the Broadway exit in the Beaumark Industrial Park. Come see why WVII was voted best butcher shop in Bangor as you get your filet strips of ribeyes custom cut by professional butchers. Try one of their famous honey glazed spiral hams or smoked turkey or chicken. Open on site Monday through Friday. Maine products made by Maine people. WVII Sons. Quality meats since 1860.
Chevy trucks are as capable and dependable as the Chevy people who drive them. You probably know one. Your sister. Your buddy. The ones who always show up. They all have that little extra something. And maybe you got it too.
Start the year-end drive right now while qualified buyers can get 1.9% financing on 2026 Silverado 1500 pickups. Or qualified lessees can get this 2026 Silverado pickup for around $399 a month.
The U.S. Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights has launched Title IX investigations into multiple school districts in Maine, including RSU 19. RSU 19 serves the towns of Corinna, Dixmont, Etna, Heartland, Newport, Palmyra, Plymouth, and St. Albans. According to Superintendent Michael Hammer, the school district received a letter from the Department of Education last week regarding an alleged complaint. He says the complaint argues the district discriminated against female students on the basis of sex by allowing a male student to join the girls' cheerleading team and use the girls' bathroom and locker rooms at Nokomis Regional Middle School. According to Hammer, the letter came as a surprise as they have no record of having received any complaints about the cheerleading program. He added that conflicting federal and state Title IX policies have put school districts in a challenging position.
I have one set of laws that's going to tell me I have to have, no transgender athletes, and and then I have another policy that says I have to follow the Maine Civil Rights Act. I'm stuck between two different pieces of legislation that I'm not qualified to decide which one, right? And so I have to guide my board through that, and then I don't want a whole bunch of negative publicity, and we don't need to bring, we try to protect all students, and that's what my message would be.
According to Hammer, RSU 19 does not currently have a formal policy specific to transgender student bathroom use. RSU 57, which includes part of southern Maine, is also under investigation regarding Title IX compliance. The investigations are part of a broader action by the DOE involving 18 education entities and 10 states. Superintendent Hammer says the district plans to fully cooperate with the federal investigation.
Maine House Speaker Ryan Fecteau testified before the Health and Human Services Committee yesterday on a bill he's sponsoring that aims to address the shortage of direct care workers for older and disabled Mainers. The bill is LD 1932, an act to support essential support workers and enhance workforce development. The legislation would require Maine Care to reimburse agencies at 140% of the minimum wage and would also require that workers receive at least 125% of the minimum wage. Pecto says tens of thousands of authorized home care hours go unfilled every week due to staffing shortages. He says his bill would track that gap, implement a plan to close it, and improve training standards.
Because my mom is a direct care worker, I know the intense physical and mental demands of these jobs, demands that are only exacerbated when coupled with stress of low wages. These workers, who are some of the lowest paid in the state, not only work long hours, but also spend unpaid time serving clients and their families.
The committee will consider this bill in the coming weeks.
Maine's paid family and medical leave program will begin distributing benefits on May 1st. The vote happened at a meeting yesterday. The program was established in 2023. It will provide eligible workers with up to 12 weeks of paid leave to care for a new child, a seriously ill loved one, or to recover from their own health condition without the fear of losing employment or income. Workers and employees have been contributing to the program since January of 2025. Applications for the paid leave are not available yet, but the Maine Department of Labor will release more information at a later date.
Well, a big milestone has been reached for the town of Heartland. An organization that aims to revitalize struggling buildings in Maine has acquired the site of the former Irving Tannery to address the environmental issues and prepare it for future investment. Our Grace Blanchard has more.
A new chapter awaits the town of Heartland as the Maine Redevelopment Land Bank Authority has announced the acquisition of the former Irving Tannery site.
It's a pivotal day for Heartland. I mean, we've been, unfortunately, when the tannery left, it left the town and workers, citizens who worked here, and just the town in a tough situation.
For generations, the former leather processing facility provided steady jobs, supported families, and played an essential role in the town's economy.
My father worked here for 38 years, and his name was Gabe Heichel. And my first job was actually here when I was 6 or 7, emptying garbage cans in the office.
Market shifts and the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic led to its closure in 2021, leaving behind multiple vacant buildings and properties. But Maine Redevelopment hopes to change that.
We're here to work with Maine communities to put stuck properties that used to be important parts of their communities back to work. That's kind of the whole reason we exist.
The organization launched in 2024. The tannery is their first project. They plan to demolish the vacant buildings and work with the community to determine its future use.
It'd be great to have a park behind us maybe, and then there's many buildings to the other side here that if we could get new businesses in there, it'd just be great for this region, specifically for our town.
For community members with long-standing ties to the tannery, it's a bittersweet moment.
I think most people know it's time, and I look forward to the next step of what this can become.
In Heartland, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Meanwhile, the University of Maine system is starting the spring semester with the highest spring enrollment since 2019. As classes begin this week, more than 24,500 students are registered across Maine public universities. That's a 1.7% increase from last spring. More than 1,500 Maine high school students are also earning post-secondary credit for free through the system's early college programs. That's a decline from prior years due to limited funding. Well, the time now is 6:18. After the break, President Trump is scheduled to meet with NATO allies at the World Economic Summit. We'll have the details on the president's visit.
Plus, one Mainer is using his talents to turn local landscapes into pieces of Lego art. Those stories and more coming up on Good Morning Maine.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
I love your nervous smile, your giant heart, and knowing what melts you.
The irresistibly smooth chocolate of Lindor, made to melt the one you love this Valentine's.
Oh yeah, he knows Michael. And he knows what it takes to win Super Bowls. Now this morning, Eli Manning's bringing it to GMA. And wait till you hear Eli's take on the race for this Super Bowl. This morning on GMA. And stream on Disney Plus and Hulu.
Jamar Construction Products in Bangor continues to grow to meet our customers' needs, supplying products for site work contractors, concrete contractors, and survey and safety supplies. We are proud to be the local dealer for Hilti, Valley Blades, U.S. Fabrics, and Euclid Chemical, plus so much more. Stop by and see us at 1270 Hammond Street or give us a call at 907-4491. If you dig it, pour it, plow it, fasten it, lay it, or lift it, Jim Mar Construction Products can help you.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, Legos are not just for kids. Those colorful interlocking plastic blocks are now being collected by more and more adults these days.
And as Jody Hersey found out, one Waldoboro resident is even using the iconic toy to make art.
In the small Lincoln County town of Waldoboro, Lego artist Colby Adolphson can create just about anything.
I grew up kind of in the Rockland, Camden area right outside. And so I thought to myself, I was like, what do I want to build that would be kind of exciting for me? And I thought, well, I'll build the Rockland Breakwater because that's kind of iconic for our area. And I thought it turned out great.
By day, this dad of 3 is a quality data analyst for Maine Health. But at night, he says building with Lego allows him to tap into his imagination.
It's something you can really focus on, something that pulls you away from your phone, pulls you away from our computer screens at work or whatever, and gets you really thinking.
His iconic builds have been on display at the Camden Public Library, the Brickstore Museum in Kennebunk, and even the Maine Maritime Museum in Bath.
So I built the Chris Van Deusen's circus ship, which is one of my favorite ones that I've done, and that is on display at the Maine Maritime Museum with the exhibit that features his work.
Colby has passed his love of Lego onto both his sons.
My oldest, he loves sorting and building the sets. My younger son, he's the one that loves playing with them.
An iconic toy that is bringing generations together, one brick at a time.
Anybody can do this, and it's fun.
In Waldoboro, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Legos are fun. I have a nephew. He started playing with them when he was a little kid.
Yeah.
He's now 25, and he and his friends still get together every now and then.
Yeah, they're so fun. It's really impressive, too, because normally when you buy the kit, you follow the directions, and he's not doing that.
His is all just coming from his mind.
Right, so super impressive.
Yeah, neat.
We'll turn things over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Craig and Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Stone Artisans. For fast, beautiful countertops, trust Stone Artisans, your main stone supplier, 2493040. Alrighty, here we go. We have a small craft advisory that is up until Thursday at around 7 p.m. Some active surf that we'll need to keep an eye on until then. As we check on the wayfind, still a little bit active at around 4 to 5 feet. While farther out towards sea, you can definitely see that it's active even more at around 5 to even 11 feet at this moment in time. But meanwhile, on land, pretty quiet outside this morning. We'll be under a partly cloudy sky, so sunshine will be mixed in. Later on this afternoon, we'll have more clouds on the way ahead of our next system, which right now is in the Midwest. You can see some snowfall out there this morning. Rain farther down toward the south. For us, it will be a snow event that we are going to be seeing with around 1 to 3 inches of snow possible. But meanwhile, again, we will be seeing some clouds and sunshine mixed in. Later on this afternoon, more clouds on the way. Overnight, we are going to be seeing some snow passing through. It will be out of here as we head towards your Thursday with sunshine peeking back out. Maybe a band of snow passing through late Thursday afternoon to the evening. Notice nothing too ridiculous with that. bad. By around Friday morning, clouds and sunshine making a return. So overall, not a lot of snow with this. Again, around a range of 1 to 3 inches of snow possible before this all begins to get out of here. So again, nothing too ridiculous. No advisories posted at this time. Our average high temperature 27 degrees. Close to that today, mid-20s with upper 30s Thursday, and then low 20s for your Friday. Then we cool off Saturday and a Sunday. We're in the single digits. Gradual warm up Monday and a Tuesday in the teens. But for today, all right, mid-20s, partly cloudy, southwest wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. More clouds for the afternoon. The snow moves in tonight with 1 to 3 inches with lows in the upper teens. No problem with the wind at all out of the south at 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow, upper 30s, partly cloudy, some snow showers again. Southwest wind at around 20 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Stone Artisans. Partly cloudy, a chance for some snow showers for your Friday with highs in the low 20s. Otherwise, we're below zero for overnight lows Friday night and again Saturday night. But otherwise, Saturday mostly sunny with the high near 3 degrees. Otherwise, 7 degrees for the high Sunday under a mostly cloudy sky.
A fourth-generation family-owned business, Hammond Lumber Company is proud of 2 recent continuing traditions. For the 5th year in a row, Hammond was named one of the best places to work in Maine. And for the 3rd consecutive year, Hammond was selected as one of the best companies to work for by Business New Hampshire magazine. Find your opportunity to join the Hammond team at hammondlumber.com. Hammond Lumber Company, always striving to provide the best for their employees and their customers throughout Maine and New Hampshire.
Gun Sports and Brewer knows that for fun, exercise, and meeting new friends, nothing is better than ice skating. Whether it's sailing down the ice, making a great pass, and scoring in a game of hockey, or the grace, strength, and expression of figure skating. From the youngest child all the way to adulthood, anyone can enjoy the fun of skating. At Gun Sports, we supply the equipment for your skating fun for great prices, the proper fit, and service after the sale. Shop your locally owned Gun Sports Shop, Greenpoint Road in Brewer.
It's high school basketball season, and ABC7 and Fox 22 are here to keep you up to date with your local scores and highlights during Friday Night Fast Break. Get out and support your hometown teams and look for our sports crew to get your own free Friday Night Fast Break t-shirt courtesy of
Cat Tracks, Coastal Auto Parts Napa, Kylie Bean Insurance Agency, Old Town Redemption Center, Rose Bicycle, and Steaks and Stuff.
No matter what happens in D.C.,
there's one thing we can count on.
Susan Collins always delivers for Maine.
Susan's Law restored Social Security benefits for thousands of Mainers like me.
Collins is protecting our lobster industry
by fighting unfair regulations.
Susan always has our back. And Collins Law expands care to help Mainers fight Alzheimer's.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Susan.
I appreciate everything she is doing.
Call. Thanks, Senator Collins, for fighting and winning for Maine. You're watching ABC7 Bangor.
Today, President Trump is scheduled to meet with NATO allies at the World Economic Summit. The president getting a delayed start to his trip after Air Force One was forced to turn around for a minor electrical issue. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington with the details on the president's visit.
Overnight, Air Force One forced to turn back after a minor electrical issue. President Trump switching planes ahead of a World Economic Summit speech in Davos, Switzerland, where Greenland is expected to be a major focus. Ahead of the speech, the president shared his threats once again for the U.S. to take over the Danish territory.
How far are you willing to go to acquire Greenland?
You'll find out.
The president now threatening to impose new tariffs on NATO allies, including a 10% import tax starting in February on goods from certain European countries. In response, the financial markets taking a nosedive on Tuesday. French President Emmanuel Macron, alongside many of his European peers, are pushing back on the president's threats.
We need more stability in this world, but we do prefer respect to bullies.
The president now downplaying tensions with Macron and other leaders.
I think I get along very well with them. I mean, they always treat me well. They get a little bit rough when they're, when I'm not around. But when I'm around, they treat me very nicely.
Trump claims Greenland is needed for U.S. national security. However, thousands in Denmark and Greenland were seen protesting, wearing red hats that say, "Make America Go Away." Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Commuter rail service in Spain's northeastern region was suspended this morning after a Barcelona train crashed the night before. Spanish authorities say at least one person died in the Barcelona area crash and 37 others were injured. Crews worked throughout the night to complete rescue efforts. The train hit a retaining wall that fell into the tracks. All of this right after that high-speed, deadly train collision in Madrid. Emergency workers are still searching for more victims in that wreckage from Sunday's crash that killed at least 42 people and took place nearly 500 miles away from Barcelona. While Spain's rail networks generally run smoothly, the commuter rail service is plagued by reliability issues.
Closing arguments are expected today at the trial of a former police officer accused of not responding quickly enough to the deadly school shooting in WVII, Texas in 2022. One witness who took the stand claimed the officer may have suffered from tunnel vision that day. Here's ABC's Hannah Battah.
The fate of former Uvalde school police officer Adrian Gonzalez will soon be in the hands of a jury.
Please be seated in the board.
Gonzalez was first on the scene at the Robb Elementary massacre in 2022. He's charged with 29 counts of child endangerment or abandonment, one for each of the 19 children killed and 10 others who survived. Prosecutors say Gonzalez did not follow his training and failed to delay or stop the shooter. But his lawyers say he's being scapegoated, arguing he was one of the first officers to enter the school and that he evacuated children as other police arrived. The defense calling former San Antonio police officer Willie Cantu to the stand. He testified Gonzalez could have suffered from so-called tunnel vision when he responded to the shooting.
It's like when you get stressed, I'm late for work, and I need to find my keys to my car. I can't find my keys, and you have them in your hand.
Cantu casting doubt on the reliability of a teacher's aide who says she tried to warn Gonzalez about the location of the shooter.
I just kept pointing, he's going in there, he's going to the 4th grade building.
When you told the officer to go in, did he go in?
No.
What did he do?
Yes, he just stayed there.
Cantu responding to that testimony.
She was definitely there, experienced all the trauma that was going on, but people process that type of stuff differently.
Some victims' family members speaking outside court, demanding Gonzalez be held responsible.
He had duties and responsibilities that he did not act on. He could have been a hero that day. A total hero, not an imaginary hero.
If convicted, Gonzalez could face life in prison. The former police chief facing similar charges is awaiting trial. Hannah Battah, ABC News, New York.
President Trump takes steps to help improve housing affordability for Americans. The president signed an executive order on Tuesday aimed at limiting institutional investors from competing with home buyers. The executive order states, quote, neighborhoods and communities once controlled by middle-class American families are now run by faraway corporate interests. The order outlines new steps to block investor purchases. They include the administration promoting home sales to individual buyers and reviewing acquisitions by large institutional investors.
Coming up on the second half of the newscast, we'll take a look at an annual dog sled race in the state of Montana.
Don't go away.
Hello, this is George Whelan with Down East Direct Cremation. Now, anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, from the comfort of your desktop or the convenience of your mobile device, you can summon transport and arrange a simple, affordable, respectful Down East Direct Cremation for your deceased loved one. Just by using the button exclusively at downeastdirectcremation.com. All you need is the location address of the person who has died, their vital statistics information, a valid credit card for payment, and that's it. No need to pick up the telephone, no need to answer a bunch of questions, no need to come into the store, and it's still just $9.75 complete. It's so easy, even I can do it. For more information, visit us at downeastdirectcremation.com or call us at 207-225-5332. Simple, affordable, respectful. The button, only at downeastdirectcremation.com.
I don't know if the world knows this, but kids are expensive. And when we found out we were pregnant, of course, we were looking for any ways to slash bills.
And making sure we only had what we needed so that everything was less stressful.
And saving money with our internet bill really helped us out a lot. Came to Spectrum because we were with AT&T before, and Spectrum just had a better deal.
That money we saved with Spectrum just added to what we could repurpose for our daughter.
Real customers, real savings. To see how much you can save, visit spectrum.com/save.
It's high school basketball season, and ABC7 and Fox 22 are here to keep you up to date with your local scores and highlights during Friday Night Fast Break. Get out and support your hometown teams and look for our sports crew to get your own free Friday Night Fast Break t-shirt courtesy of
Bark Harbor, Carroll Drug Store, Coastal Auto Parts Napa, Edgewater Motel and Cottages, Harvey RV and Marine, and Ray Plumbing and Heating.
You're watching ABC7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Wednesday, January 21st, 2026, and this is also International Sweatpants Day.
Sweatpants have been around for close to 100 years. They were first created for athletes in 1882 by a French clothing and sportswear company. The best way to observe this holiday is by wearing your sweatpants all day long, although it might not be possible for your work or if your school has a dress code.
Yeah, they might frown upon that.
Yeah, I mean, we could maybe wear sweatpants.
Yeah, you only see us from here up, so yeah.
We should have done that.
Yeah, not a bad thing. If you don't like that holiday, it's also Squirrel Appreciation Day.
Oh, that's,
so you can learn about squirrels.
There you go.
So. All right.
Two options.
Moving on to other history. It was on this day back in 1793. King Louis of France faced execution by guillotine for high treason. In 1908 on this date, New York City passed a law prohibiting women from smoking in public places. Doesn't say anything about men, just women. It was called the Sullivan Ordinance. The law was vetoed by the mayor soon after, but the controversy also highlighted shifting social norms and challenged society's views on female independence. There was a lot of protests after they came up with that law.
Wow.
And in 1915 on this date, the first Kiwanis Club, dedicated to community service, was founded in Detroit, Michigan.
In 1976, British Airways and Air France began the first passenger flights aboard the supersonic Concorde jet. The jets flew well over the sound barrier at more than 1,300 miles per hour and cut air travel time by more than half. The Concordes would fly until the year 2000 when one of them crashed after taking off from Paris. And in 1977, on his first full day in office, President Jimmy Carter pardoned almost all Vietnam War draft evaders. And in 1981, the iconic DeLorean sports car began production in Northern Ireland. And in 2009, after more than 70 years as the world's largest automaker, General Motors lost its title to Toyota when it came to worldwide sales.
All right, for birthdays today, they include actress Gina Davis, who is 70 years old today. Actor Luke Grimes, he turns 42. You've probably seen him in Yellowstone.
Dutton.
Yeah. And World Golf Hall of Famer Jack Nicklaus is 86 years old today. Happy birthday to them and to you also if your birthday is today. Jack Nicklaus was like the Tiger Woods of the golf scene before Tiger Woods was even thought about.
Very cool.
Yeah.
We'll turn things over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Wednesday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Stone Artisans. For fast, beautiful countertops, trust Stone Artisans, your main stone supplier. 2493040. Alrighty, here we go. So we have a small craft advisory that is up until 7 p.m. as we head towards your Thursday. Some active surf along the coast that we'll need to keep an eye on. But in the meantime, pretty quiet as we get things rolling on your Wednesday morning. But later on tonight, we'll be watching for a little bit of snow that will be moving in with an area low pressure that is off towards the west. There it is right there. That will be tracking off towards the east. But for now, the northeast is looking pretty quiet on this Wednesday morning. Futurecast showing some clouds. We'll call it partly cloudy today. More clouds this afternoon. Into the evening, there's the snow right there that will be passing passing through, not enough to prompt any advisories in our neck of the woods, but it may cause the roads to get slippery at times. But for today, we have mid-20s under a partly cloudy sky, more clouds for the afternoon at southwest wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. There is a snow tonight with 1 to 3 inches, with lows overall in the upper teens. But meanwhile, your hourly forecast, we'll have some clouds moving in with temperatures reaching for the 20s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa?
Thank you, Devin. Still to come here this morning, Max Sturm with sports.
Don't go away.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
It's high school basketball season, and ABC7 and Fox 22 are here to keep you up to date with your local scores and highlights during Friday Night Fast Break. Get out and support your hometown teams and look for our sports crew to get your own free Friday Night Fast Break t-shirt courtesy of
Belly of the Beast Barbecue, Carpet One, Coastal Auto Parts Napa, Harvey RV and Marine, Rose Bicycle, and Top Notch Detailing.
At Ashes to Ashes Pet Crematory, we understand your pet is family. When it's time to say goodbye, you deserve compassionate, respectful care. We're a family-owned crematory in LaGrange, offering private cremation for dogs, cats, and even exotic pets. You'll meet the caring people who handle everything from start to finish. Visit our office to see our selection of urns and memorial jewelry for pets and people. You do have a choice in where your pet is cremated. Call Ashes to Ashes Pet Crematory today. We're here when you need us most. Please call us for pricing of services.
ABC7 and Fox 22's Jack Webb, named Maine's Sportscaster of the Year by the National Sports Media Association.
Welcome back in, folks. Thanks for staying with us. We will start in Orono tonight, where the Maine women's basketball team is preparing for another weekend of conference play. The Black Bears split their 2 games this past weekend, first losing to reigning America East champs UVM on Thursday by a score of 64-53, but then turned it around and beat rival New Hampshire on the road Saturday 73-51. Head coach Amy Vachon says defense was the biggest difference in those results.
I think, the Vermont game, they did a really good job of taking us out of what we wanted to do offensively, but defensively we didn't give ourselves a chance. So I thought going into New Hampshire, we were really focused on that and did a much better job on that side of the ball.
Maine now turns their attention to a road trip to Albany for another marquee America East matchup. Due to the Black Bears' recent America East success, Maine and Albany have developed a bit of a rivalry. But with 7 new players on this roster, Vermont was half the team's first taste of a big conference matchup, and Coach Vachon believes that matchup may have taught them the importance of being ready to go in America East play.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. Vermont is the defending champions, and they played like that, and we weren't ready. We did not give them our best effort. They are the best team in the league. There's no question about it. But I think the more experience our players get, the only Addie and Sarah Talon played in the championship a couple years ago, and no one else has. So it takes time, and hopefully we'll just get better every day.
Folks, back in August, who could have imagined or dreamt of a scenario where the New England Patriots, a team that won just 4 games last season, would be one win away from heading to the Super Bowl? But 16 wins later, here we are. The Patriots will head to Denver this Sunday to battle the Broncos in the AFC Championship game beginning at 3 o'clock. The Pats gutted out a hard-fought 28-16 win over the Texans on Sunday. The conditions were anything but ideal, with snow and rain falling throughout the game. Fortunately, the weather on Sunday in Denver should be ideal, with forecasters calling for sunny skies and temps in the upper 30s. Now, the Broncos, of course, will be without their starting quarterback, Bo Nix, who suffered a broken bone in his ankle during the waning moments of Saturday night's thrilling overtime win against Buffalo. Former Patriots 4th-rounder Jarrett Stidham will now get the ball on Sunday. And the Patriots, who, by the way, are 8-0 away from Gillette Stadium this season, if they can make it 9, they'll be off to Super Bowl 60.
Still got another game this week, focus on Denver. Then hopefully we advance Super Bowl, and then we there.
Just to be able to be in this position right now, it's a blessing, man. And, you know, hopefully we can just, you know, stack days, win on Sunday, and then, you know, get to that next one.
You know that the whole stadium is against you. So, like, it feels like when your back's against the wall, you fight even harder. And for us, like, when we're in that hostile environment, that's what we do. It's just us against the world.
Now, don't sleep on the Broncos. They've got a tough defense. Now let's check in with Cooper Flagg and the Dallas Mavericks, who walked into Madison Square Garden and defeated the third-place New York Knicks. The Mavericks, who were 17-26 on the season and placed 12th in the Western Conference, but the underdogs were able to go on the road and come away with a 114-97 victory over New York. Now, Max Christie led the way for the Mavs with 26 points, but Cooper Flagg, who played in his first game back from injury, had his hands all over this game with 18 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. Flagg says the key to the Mavs' upset in New York was a combined effort to limit their star players' scoring chances.
Yeah, I think just playing team defense. You know, we know who their problems are, and, you know, they're guys they want to go to, and, you know, just a lot of different guys stepping up and making plays. You know, I thought we just covered for each other really well tonight, and we played really good team defense.
Now let's circle back to some local college basketball again. This time, the Hudson University Eagles women's basketball team. Now, the Eagles played host to the number 7 team in the country, the Bowdoin Polar Bears, kicking things off. Polar Bears got out to a huge lead, and it starts in transition as they go all the way down the court to Melissa Leone. She gets the easy 2. The Eagles respond, though, on the inbound here with this catch-and-shoot play from Lily Roy, who drops it in for 3. And then that's followed up by another 3. This time, Layla Martinez is the one who cashes in on the triple, but the Eagles are still down big. This game was all about the 3 ball. This time, Bowdoin's Grace Kinham splashes it from the corner. And then, for good measure, how about one more before the half? Here's Peyton Collins. It gets passed out. It's up, and it is good from outside. Polar Bears win 74-46. Now we'll take a look at some other scores from around the region on Tuesday. Class A boys basketball, Oxford Hills with a 63-61 victory over Bangor. And then a big upset here as Oceanside defeats undefeated Gardner 67-57. Oceanside moves to 14-1, Gardner to 13-1. That could be a state championship matchup later down the line. Class B girls basketball, Erskine Academy 46-43 over Nokomis. And lastly, Class D boys basketball, Bangor Christian 68-46 over Piscataquis. That's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Gun Sports and Brewer knows that for fun, exercise, and meeting new friends, nothing is better than ice skating. Whether it's sailing down the ice, making a great pass, and scoring in a game of hockey, or the grace, strength, and expression of figure skating. From the youngest child all the way to adulthood, anyone can enjoy the fun of skating. At Gun Sports, we supply the equipment for your skating fun for great prices, the proper fit, and service after the sale. Shop your locally owned Gun Sports Shop, Greenpoint Road in Brewer.
Pregnant again at 19. I was in an abusive relationship and felt that I couldn't raise 2 children alone. So I took the first abortion pill and immediately knew that I had made the worst decision. I frantically searched for answers and found abortionpillreversal.com. I was referred to a doctor who began treatments that reversed my abortion. There's help for you too. It is not too late to save your baby.
Chevy trucks are as capable and dependable as the Chevy people who drive them. You probably know one. Your sister. Your buddy. The ones who always show up. They all have that little extra something. And maybe you got it too.
Start the year-end drive right now while qualified buyers can get 1.9% financing on 2026 Silverado 1500 pickups. Or qualified lessees can get this 2026 Silverado pickup for around $399 a month.
Welcome back, everyone. A popular interactive venue may soon be getting a second location on the East Coast. Sphere Entertainment, the company behind the interactive venue Sphere in Las Vegas, says it intends to build a secondary location in Maryland, about 15 minutes outside of Washington, D.C. Sphere Entertainment says the new venue is set to be built in an area known as National Harbor, located in Prince George's County, Maryland. The company says the mini Sphere would be smaller in size and seat 6,000 people compared to the original, which can seat 17,000. This comes after the company announced plans back in October of 2024 to build a Sphere in Abu Dhabi.
Oh, how about that?
It's cool.
Yeah, I'd love to check out a nice concert in the Sphere in Las Vegas sometime.
Yeah, it looks so fun.
Looks neat. And warmer weather did not stop a dog sled race from happening over the weekend in Montana, but it did affect the dogs that were running. The Derby Dog Day event happens every year in western Montana. This year, the weather was milder, something that race participant Tara Lynn says has different effects on the dogs, depending on the breed.
So like Huskies and Alaskans, they've got that bigger, thicker coat, so it makes it harder for them to run when it's hotter. They run best when it's about minus 20 to 30 degrees. And so when you're talking about running 30 degrees and then you've got the sun beating down on them, it does affect how you can run them.
Interesting. Well, Lynn says when the weather is warmer, you have to slow down the dogs and give them time to drink water and to eat some snow as well.
They're so cute.
Makes sense. They would like the weather around here today. It was 4 degrees now,
Yeah.
but it's supposed to feel a lot colder, well below zero with the wind chill
with the
today.
Wind, yes. Now here's meteorologist Evan Biggs with our full weather forecast.
Alrighty, Craig and Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Stone Artisans. For fast, beautiful countertops, trust Stone Artisans, your main stone supplier, 2493040. Alrighty, here we go. We have a small craft advisory that is up until Thursday at around 7 p.m. Some active surf that we'll need to keep an eye on until then. As we check on the wayfind, it's still a little bit active at around 4 to 5 feet. While farther out towards sea, you can definitely see that it's active even more at around 5 to even 11 feet at this moment in time. But meanwhile, on land, pretty quiet outside this morning. We'll be under a partly cloudy sky, so sunshine will be mixed in. Later on this afternoon, we'll have more clouds on the way ahead of our next system, which right now is in the Midwest. You can see some snowfall out there this morning. Rain farther down toward the south. For us, it will be a snow event that we are going to be seeing with around 1 to 3 inches of snow possible. But meanwhile, again, we will be seeing some clouds and sunshine mixed in. Later on this afternoon, more clouds on the way. Overnight, we are going to be seeing some snow passing through. It will be out of here as we head towards your Thursday with sunshine peeking back out. Maybe a band of snow passing through late Thursday afternoon to the evening. Notice nothing too ridiculous with that. By around Friday morning, clouds and sunshine making a return. So overall, not a lot of snow with this. Again, around a range of 1 to 3 inches of snow possible before this all begins to get out of here. So again, nothing too ridiculous. No advisories posted at this time. Our average high temperature 27 degrees. Close to that today, mid-20s with upper 30s Thursday, and then low 20s for your Friday. Then we cool off Saturday and a Sunday. We're in the single digits. Gradual warm up Monday and a Tuesday in the teens. But for today, all right, mid-20s, partly cloudy, southwest wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. More clouds for the afternoon. The snow moves in tonight with 1 to 3 inches with lows in the upper teens. No problem with the wind at all out of the south at 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow, upper 30s, partly cloudy, some snow showers again. Southwest wind at around 20 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Stone Artisans. Partly cloudy, a chance for some snow showers for your Friday with highs in the low 20s. Otherwise, we're below zero for overnight lows Friday night and again Saturday night. But otherwise, Saturday mostly sunny with the high near 3 degrees. Otherwise, 7 degrees for the high Sunday under a mostly cloudy sky.
Keep your next building project on track when you plan ahead with help from Hammond Lumber Company. Hammond's Home Planning Center specialists offer professional plans with customizable 3D renderings available to bring your project to life. Once your design is finalized and approved, you'll receive a full materials list. And when you buy all your materials from them, Hammond will refund your design fees. Get your building project off to the right start when you bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company.
Are you living with dry AMD? If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, causing irreversible vision loss. But with Izervay, you can
slow it down and get it going slower.
Ask your doctor about Izervay.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay is the #1 prescribed FDA-approved treatment for new GA patients. Izervay is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression, which may help preserve your vision longer.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Slow your GA. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Pat's Pizza in Holden suggests calling now for reserving your next event or party. Their 2 indoor golf simulators are now open, and they're taking reservations for the season. Please check their Facebook page for indoor golf specials. Pat's Pizza Holden.
So it's been about 4 weeks now in the mall, and it's not great.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We also need a gym.
Residents in Greenland's capital got a chance to marvel at the Northern Lights late Tuesday. As the country gets thrust into the spotlight over President Donald Trump's attempts to acquire the territory, residents in Nuuk relished in the beauty of the natural phenomenon. President Trump has said he will impose a 10% tariff on goods imported from 8 European countries starting February 1st if they don't agree on his proposed Greenland takeover. The European Union's top official called the planned new tariffs, quote, a mistake.
Can't put any tariffs on the Northern Lights,
No,
though.
you cannot. Those are beautiful.
Yeah, I noticed some people around here spotted them, too. I
Oh,
saw
really?
a few pictures on social media this
Very
morning.
cool.
And firefighters in Fresno, California, excuse me, saved the day after a toddler's birthday party gets a little overheated. Over the weekend, a 3-year-old girl was celebrating her birthday with her family before things took a smoky turn. The oven caught on fire as the family was baking cupcakes, filling the kitchen with smoke and forcing the party to be put on pause. The Fresno Fire Department quickly responded, making sure everyone got out safe and was accounted for. And after putting out the fire, the Engine 12 crew went out and bought a replacement cake for the young girl, helping to bring her birthday smile back after a very stressful situation.
That is so cute.
What a nice thing to do.
Very nice. Well, that's all the time that we have left for this hour, but you can join us for the second hour of Good Morning Maine. That's next on Fox 22.
Bundle up, everybody. Hope you have a great day.